Okay, here's the reality to the system about the death of George Floyd by the police in the state of Minneapolis. Okay, first of all, things like that shouldn't happen. And they don't have to happen, but they happen because people are lackluster in their responsibility as Americans. Okay, you're here in this country, if you're in America, because you have a say and you have the opportunity to oversee the way the system is and participate in it. And the participation just to pay taxes and vote isn't enough. Okay, now when you go through stuff like what this man had, if he didn't die, what he went through, you would realize that the system puts you through a process. And so here's what it is. There's people like me that have been beat up by the police and all this and that. And there's people like you that aren't doing anything about it and want to shame people like me and until something happens. Well, you know what I learned? I learned that the police stations are closed at 5 o'clock. Okay, now if you got a brain at all, what does that mean? Okay, that means that they must be contracted because civil city services are open 24 hours, like the fire department and the hospitals and everything like that. So why aren't the police departments? And what does that mean? That means for like 10 or 15 years, at least, these murders and deaths and incidents of families being destroyed didn't have to happen, because if you realize and listen to information, you could take action about it instead of waiting until somebody dies and having an uprising. And people like me are like, you know what, you wasting your time, getting drunk and getting stupid and buying crap when we see the world go down because it affects us around us. And you're living in it like it's all cool until it happens to you. Okay, now this is no big deal for people like me, but for you, you could do something about it. You should have did something about it 10 years ago. Okay, like you go fucking file paperwork, because if the police stations is closed at 5, they must be subcontracted, just like a security guard, just like a banker or somebody else, a utility worker. So therefore they can be charged as individuals and as captains. So instead of destroying stuff and making riots and causing fires and bitching and complaining, why don't you do something about it? Because you're wasting time. And for people like me, we don't want to invest in your life because you keep this world perpetually going with BS. So this is your fault. Okay? People like me and many others of families of people like me and friends of people like me, know that what we go through and what the cost is, the ultimate cost is this man dying and paid by dead by a city worker. Okay? That doesn't have any right to have a gun and roam around the streets, in tinted window cars. We should know who's riding around our neighborhoods and screwing with our families and our kids and our relatives. Some jagoff, new to the force, learning the ropes from an old bastard, because all the good cops, obviously, they're hiding or running away and they're keeping quiet. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There's plenty of them, and there's plenty of them to help me too, but in the long run, this is your own fault. And it's just perpetuating, and it's like, 10, 15, 20 years go by with the Rodney King and all that crap. It's the same almost thing. Why can't you frickin' grow up? You don't deserve to have positions in this world. You don't deserve to have a say, okay? Because you know what? You're inadequate. So what are you going to do about it? It's not my problem. That's why people like me try to go underground, not dead, but to the point where we go off-grid because we don't want to participate in this because it's supporting you, which supports the thing that kills us all. And, if you're a police officer or a parent or an older or a younger person, you think that somebody should be interrupted in their travels for a piece of plastic license and a registration, okay, and stuff like that, and you're done. Your mentality's crappy. Okay, you're hurting people, and you've allowed stuff like this to happen because the general person is like, well, that's what the law is, and it's not even a law, it's a statute. So because you're uninformed and you don't know, this stuff continues to happen, and you're not doing nothing about it. So yeah, he died because it's your fault. Okay, and you could choose to stand in front of my comments as the direct target of what I'm saying or not, but the majority of people do, because all you do is feed yourself and finance yourself and obligatory say, okay, I'm going to push the button like everybody else once every 4 years, and it's not enough. You fucking failed. Okay, you're failing. Every time somebody dies, every time somebody loses a day of work, every time somebody, has a heartache because they have to go to court for something stupid, okay, you failed. You failed. And I'm talking to older people, younger people, private people, professional people, public people. You failed, okay? And that man's death is evidence of you failing. And me going through my trials and tribulations, I was so lucky compared to people like him and millions of others. I have proof that the city and the government and the people around me don't do shit, so I don't have to live by your rules or under your guise of rules or your colors of law or anything, okay? Because this is like a chess game. And when nobody sticks up to do the right thing, then we gain leverage and we ascend in our position. And you know what? You've lost your position. And to people like me, you're below me now because you're part of the system and I am exempt from the system, because of what I know and what I've been through and the proof that has been bestowed upon my life here to deliver you this message. Fuck you. Do something about it. That's a shame. You should be ashamed of yourself that this man died, that the young cop, and he's white, and the guy that died is black, and then he bust into the police stations. Dude, burning down businesses. Man, screw you. You people are idiots. You give people like me anxiety and you're screwing up the world. You know what? On top of that, I decided to stop eating meat. Maybe you don't want to hear that too, but maybe the hormones and steroids and all those things are getting to you, and the adrenaline in the meat. Maybe you better cut it out. Maybe cops should be vegetarians or vegans. Think about that. You like that fucking finger pointed at you? I had the whole fucking state, my family and everybody pointing their finger at me saying, yeah, you're guilty. Yeah, we want to see you go down because that's the law. Screw you, motherfucker. That's what I got to say about it. That man didn't have to die. And I'm trying to get away from this. I don't need this anymore. You make a crappy America. So if you can't, defend yourself against a simple traffic ticket, something simple with baby steps, starting on this minute right now, you don't deserve to be in my world because you are inadequate. And there's many, many people like me that are done. We're done facilitating you with our gifts of enlightenment, with our skills, and our intelligence and our ideas. Because you know what? Just because you have the position of power in finance or association doesn't give you the right to control things. And obviously you're not doing a good job. Whoever it is. Screw you.